Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Starting 11, our English Premier League recap show here on the Let's Get Ready Network. This is the last edition of the show that'll be just about the English Premier League for about the next 6 weeks. But Snark, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, it's weird. A 6 week break in the middle of the year. It's like you're
Yeah.
the NHL all of a sudden. Ridiculous that this is happening. It's ridiculous. But Qatar obviously got their World Cup fair and square, so you can't play in 130-degree heat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally fair and square.
hmm
They didn't just
Anyway,
make a huge documentary about it or anything.
yeah,
Um,
monsters. Yeah, it's not cool. It's not cool how many. Yeah,
no.
just the people who died just to make those deals. Incredible. Anyways,
Anyway,
that's not what this show's about. This show is wrapping up the Premier League season Part A. Is that right? Part A, Part 1, sure, whichever. Resumes
not even the
again.
first half of the season. There's
I
still
know.
like 5 or 6 more match weeks before the first half's over. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's been an odd season. It's been an odd season for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Speaking of odd things, again, we'll start off this week talking Chelsea. Yet again, showed nothing. They showed less than nothing. They showed no fight. They showed no get up. Like where's the urgency in these guys to score? There's none. They don't have it. And I was hoping, that Broda coming in or whatever would show something. He had one of the two shots on net, and it was like it's like you're out back practicing with your toddler. There was nothing to it. It just kind of rolled into net. Uh, the only other chance was a bit of a cracker there, but yeah, it was few and far between. What? Okay, does Chelsea have midfielders anymore? Like,
I don't
yes,
know.
yeah. Like, come on, this is terrible. They won't pass the ball into space. They just keep trying to push it in clusters and short passes. They don't stretch anybody. They don't have to run. No one's trying to run down anything. You can defend against Chelsea just by standing in the middle because they don't care. They won't try and press people long. Raheem Sterling being out maybe didn't help, but the way that Potter's going, he probably would have played him at left back or something like that. It's just been odd. It's been hard to figure out uh, the tactics so far by Potter, because they change, which was something that we knew coming in from Brighton. He was going to do things like this. I think him coming in mid-season is pretty unfortunate because you're asking 26 guys to learn all this stuff in the middle of the season with no training camp, no
Yeah.
spring. There's no exhibition games to play. You were right into it from the beginning. Now it's working in the European stuff for some reason. Champions League, we're looking fine and much better since he came over. But the Premier League stuff is like dry and boring, and I don't see a way out. And hopefully, in the 6 weeks it's going to take until Chelsea get back on the pitch together, that they sit down and they start hammering out a formation that they can use game in, game out until the next season starts. Because right now it doesn't look like we're playing European football next year. Other squads just look too good, and we're back down to eighth place. We're gonna have to leapfrog teams that are playing well. And like the unfortunate goddamn thing is, I was saying the same kind of muddled mess of teams like Liverpool and teams like Man United, and they've turned it around. And they've turned it around with the same players. It's not like they've done a lot to change. Casemiro coming over for Man U, I guess, is a big deal. But yeah, Liverpool has remained pretty steadfast with its same players, and they're getting it together and playing. But they play the same way all the time, and the strikers nowhere to be, the midfielders nowhere to put the ball, and Chelsea is just kind of, we'll just see. Yeah, there's just no urgency, and yes, you're missing guys like Reece James, you're missing guys like N'Golo Kante and stuff like that, but you're not paying these other guys minimum wage. These guys get paid pretty well to play football, and they haven't earned their fucking paycheck. I can tell you that.
It is really amazing to me how just awful Chelsea look.
Yeah, it's been terrible. And I'll say about the game, like that they held Newcastle to just the one goal is pretty remarkable. They yeah, it was all it's guys. It was all Newcastle all the time. Like the stats might show that Chelsea had a bit more of the ball for possession. Possession means nothing these days. When you're not doing anything with it, you can pass back to whoever. It still counts as possession when you're passing back and side to side, side to side, side to side, side to side. Move forward, guys. Like it's an uncomplicated game. It's a game that kids can play with rocks. Like you guys have figured it out to a point where you're making millions and millions and millions of pounds. It's the same game. You get out of your own heads and go play football and go have fun. Like stretch defense. I just it's mind-boggling. But I did think at first that Willett goal was offside until I saw a better angle of it. It's like okay, he was onside. But at first I was like, you're kidding me. They're just allowing this. But it won't be the most egregious non-call for an offside this week because there was a few. There, honestly, a bad week for VAR, a bad week for referees. Maybe I think some referees made some pretty good calls, but yeah, bad week for VAR. Yeah, one of the most egregious things I've ever seen. Not done to a Chelsea player. But we'll talk about that when we get to it. Next game, we're going to talk Bournemouth, AFC Bournemouth, and good old Everton. 3-0.
Everton are in trouble.
They're in trouble. They're in that zone now. So going in, now that we're at the break, you look at the bottom of the table. Wolverhampton Wanderers are, they're going to go. You're starting to see there's separation starting to happen. But that 17th spot to the 14th spot is 3 points. So all in there is going. Some teams are looking better, and Everton is a team that some weeks look competitive. They really do. This was not one of those weeks. They were awful. Solanke was all over the place, I thought, in this match. He's a player I've been watching now for a few weeks and being pretty impressed with his play. That being said, the second goal there, Tarkovsky was like, there was a guy down in the box, like holding his head for 10 seconds, and they let play run, and the goal goes in. Now, I thought as soon as it looks like your head injury, you call the play. It doesn't matter where the ball is. Where the ball is. They let it go. Wouldn't have mattered. Wouldn't have mattered. Everton posed zero threat. You might as well have been Chelsea. They posed no threat. It was a comfortable win for good old AFC and Bournemouth, who's fighting. They're fighting. They want to stay above. So good for them.
Ever since they fired their manager earlier this season, they've done pretty well.
Yeah.
And I'm actually somewhat surprised that you aren't hearing more about how the temporary manager, Gary, I forget his last name, is becoming the permanent manager, because they seem to be playing for him in a way that they weren't playing for who was their manager this year, Scott Parker.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We'll see. Bournemouth right now, on their run of play late, I don't see them being one of the ones to go. But We'll see. Next match, Liverpool and Southampton. Liverpool looks like they're coming back into form. A much better game from them. They're playing the Saints, but now first 9 minutes, a goal each. So yeah, off to a cracking start. And then I was saying last week that Darwin Nunez played his best game in a Liverpool shirt, but I think he played even better this week. A real good goal for the second one, and then he gets the other one just before the half and stuff too. A second half that you'd expect to see some fight, but there was nothing. There was just more side to side passing and stuff like that. So a couple of chances here and there, but Southampton needed to bring it. They did not.
I don't understand this managerial hire for Southampton. Sure, he did okay at Luton Town, but that's Luton Town. Like, okay.
All right.
I'm very confused by that whole project that is the Saints right now, and we'll see.
Bizarre. It's bizarre. Uh, Forest and Palace. Not much to go on in this game. I thought, I thought when Gibbs White scored, that was one that looked way outside, like over a full body length outside, and it stands up on VAR. I couldn't believe it, but there'd be worse calls. But yes, he was way outside. How does this stand? How did that stand? Like, here's the defense. Here's him when the ball's played.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
there was some really bad VAR calls this weekend.
Wilfred Zaha, goes down pretty easy in the box, and the soccer gods decided to punish him for it. I couldn't believe they awarded it A. B, it's so funny to watch him miss the net. It was a nice shot, nice cracking shot, just wide. Oh my God, that guy. Again, the mystery, the enigma. That's Wilfred Zaha. Leicester picked up 3 points, beating West Ham. Madison got named to the English squad and celebrated by absolutely hammering the leather off the ball into the top corner. Yeah, but other than that, Foxes have looked better in the last few weeks as well.
They've also started to turn it around. Yeah.
Yeah. What can you say about West Ham? Is have fun in the Champions League, guys, or the Championship League, not the Champions League.
Fabianski had a good penalty save in that, though.
It was. Yeah. No. He looked good. Good for him going into World Cup and stuff too. So
he's not on the Polish team.
That is incredible. That's incredible. What happened there? Who do they have that's better?
Wojciech Szczesny.
Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah, I don't understand. Okay. Yeah. Why not get a starting goaltender in the best league in the world? But all right, that's fine. Let's move on. Arsenal, Wolves, nail biter.
Not really.
No, it was like, well, no, there was nothing there.
The first half, I felt like we were a little out of sorts. Granit Xhaka having to come off so early because like a lot of the players were sick. I don't know if they just caught a bug or if it was a food poisoning thing from the
26-ounce flu.
But like Granit Xhaka tried to tough it out and immediately went down in like the first minute, and it was like he can't play. And so Fabio Vieira came on. I thought this was probably his best Premier League game so far. 0-0 at halftime. I was not very happy about that. But surprising. I considered ourselves lucky to be 0-0 at halftime because that should have been a penalty on William Saliba. I don't know how that was not a penalty on William Saliba. And would have been a red card too, most likely.
Probably.
And changed
why didn't VAR look at that either? You can look at that. You can tell the refs to go
back. This is what they did. Yep. They did look at that. They decided it wasn't a clear and obvious error, and that it didn't matter that he was probably offside anyways.
Yeah. Ugh.
And apparently, the halftime show Sky did was just them convincing everyone that it should have been a penalty. Like. Apparently that was the entirety of the halftime show. Was just them talking about that. But no, I was.
Well, really nothing else. There was nothing else to talk about in that first half, so you might as well. How did we decide it was pronounced yesterday? Captain. Had a pretty good second half. He had a pretty good second half.
He, I believe, is our leading scorer in the Premier League right now, which
amazing.
You wouldn't expect.
No.
2 goals from Martin Odegaard sealed it. Top of the league at Christmas, which something a lot of people keep saying. Everybody top of league at Christmas is usually the champions. I'm like, don't go there.
Yeah, there's usually another 6 games played by then. But
like we've got what do we got? 37 points from 14 matches, which is good, but it's not the same as being top of the league actually on Christmas Day because you've played up until Christmas Day. So
Yeah.
I'm happy that we have the lead that we have. I'm not convinced that we're going to hold on to it. The World
Oh,
Cup's going to change everything,
yeah,
but
100%.
I think that I think that I'm not mad at people who have started to like actually dream that maybe it's possible because nobody expected us to be in this position. Nobody predicted this for Arsenal this year.
No,
Nobody.
I think even in our predictions at the beginning of the year, I think I may have picked Arsenal to go fourth, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, never in a million years. I thought they'd get European play for like Champions League play for sure, but yeah, I did not predict this. That's for sure. I thought that Martinelli's play to set up Odegaard's second goal was really good. The way he kind of controlled the ball when the guy tried to deflect it off him and that out for the throw and stuff like, and just taking control and working his way in. It was a very nice play, and it makes me sick to my stomach to say it. All right, so good on Arsenal. Yeah, yeah. What are you gonna do? They're cruising right now. They look good, and when Odegaard is your leading scorer, and you have guys like Gabby DeJesus and the aforementioned Martinelli on the same squad,
And we're
so
doing all of this without Emil Smith Rowe at the moment too, who was our second
mhm.
leading scorer last year.
Yep.
So
You guys are just getting goals. You guys are getting goals up and down the lineup, so you guys know when to bring your midfielders forward. Everyone is just ready to score, and it's a hell of a headspace to be in when you have that confidence in everybody that thinks they can score. Which we said before, can lead to some defensive breakdowns. But you sure got it together in this game. But again, against Wolves.
well, Wolves really showed that they're not real. I thought they played well at times, but they're
Mhm.
not much of a threat.
No,
So
no, yeah, kind of unfortunate. Well, for them, I guess. Villa wins again,
yeah,
2-1 over Brighton. And Brighton scores in the first minute, or if you're, oh, this is going to be over. But no, Lewis Dunk with an absolute awful tackle on McGinn,
yeah.
and I can't believe, and the ref didn't call this one. This is when VAR had to come in and save it. Spikes down in the shin, like right by the foot. It looked terrible. It looked terrible as it happened, and I have no idea why the ref said, "Oh, maybe this is fine." Considering some of the stuff that was called yesterday, this weekend, unbelievable. So yeah, Danny Ings, no problem. And then and then Brighton just forgot how to clear in the second half, and just allowed them to set up shop. And I think it was Ings that scored again, 53rd minute or something like that, just from poor clearance and just holding on to the football. Just can't do it. Not against a team that's hungry, and they sure were. Now, speaking about goddamn hungry, I lost my lunch to this. Spurs 4, Leeds 3 in a
Yeah,
game where defense be damned.
I couldn't be
Unbelievable.
bothered to watch the highlights of this.
Okay.
I don't need to see this.
Yeah, no, it's gross. Somerville, again, Somerville scores. Uh,
He's on a roll. That's like
he's
4 games in a row for
he's
him.
on a real heater. Then, the goal I was going to talk about. Kane scores off of, guess what, a set play, because this is how he scores his goals. I don't think has he scored a goal from the run of play this year. I don't think so. I think it's probably all just headers off of crosses from the corner, crosses from free kicks. Anyways, on this particular free kick, goalie goes up to get the ball, but before he's even up in the air, two Tottenham guys have crashed into them and pushed him into the net. They then
That's
lied
got to be
down on top.
interference.
They then lied down on top of him, and Kane scored. They ruled it a good goal. They went to VAR. They ruled it a good goal. I, if my haircut wasn't like $1,000,000, I would have torn it out in frustration. It was awful. It was awful. They keep getting these breaks from the rest. I have no idea why. And like, yeah, I hate Tottenham. I get it, but this is blatantly, like blatantly awful calls that they're on the list that they're receiving, and it drives me absolutely bananas. Rodrigo had a good game for Leeds as well, and they would score, and Tottenham tied up, and then it was finally Betancourt gets the last two. Uh, yeah, I just there was just no, like Leeds just didn't have any killer instinct. They, they're as sought defensively as Tottenham is, but like, how is Tottenham so high up in the table? Like, you look at these guys, they can score, but they can't defend anything. They couldn't defend against a little Timbits team right now. 4-year-olds can beat the shit out of them.
I have no idea how Tottenham keeps getting these results. They keep getting lucky breaks. They keep getting late goals, and Leeds are just so like crazy to watch because it's all like 100 miles an hour. Everything's happening. Nobody's playing defense.
No,
Like,
their poor goaltender.
Yeah.
Yeah, left out to dry. So yeah, 3 more points for Spurs. I thought for sure this is going to be it. Leeds is going to. I thought it was going to be back-to-back losses at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I like how they say world famous Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's like, no. If you would have said White Hart Lane, then yes, we would have said that. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, world famous.
It cracks me up to this day that nobody wants to buy the naming rights.
Awful. Okay, let's talk Fulham, Manchester United, and this was a hell of a good game.
Yeah.
Here, like, Fulham had most of the ball, and Man U was creating most of the chances. That's not to say that Fulham wasn't playing well. They were, but Man U with that counter-attacking style or whatever, just get open. Eriksen's goal, his opening goal, was a real beauty.
He should have had another.
Should have had it. Well, he might have had 2 more, but he should have had another. But he's the Man U player I can't hate. I can't hate that guy.
I can't hate him either, even though he's played for Spurs.
Ugh, drives me nuts. Dan James ties it up.
That was a nice move from Fulham.
Yeah. Well, they brought him in the 59th minute, and he scores in the 61st minute. So, yeah, it was a pretty good choice to bring him in. But then there's that kid, Garnacho, with a minute left in extra time, with the winner. So poor defending.
Poor goalkeeping from Bernd Leno.
It was not. Goal. There was they broke down. It's like, you had 1 more minute to go, guys. You have to toughen up a little bit, but they just let him get in front of him, and that was it. Garnacho, 18 years old. I don't like this. I don't like this trend of teams I hate getting young talented players. It makes me worried.
I don't care for that either.
It makes me worry. Now, let's talk about some of the upsets that have happened this year. And I won't say this is maybe not the biggest upset of the year, but maybe the most satisfying upset of the year. Brentford takes down City at the Etihad. But they were absolutely fearless. Like, Brentford showed no fear. They were all over City, especially in the beginning. Tony off the set piece or whatever, that the keeper started on his side of half. Like,
they like that ball from David Raya straight to Ivan Toney.
Yeah, there was that. There was a nice header to kind of set him free and stuff as well or whatever, right in the box. But the ball was perfectly placed. Foden would get the goal back for City because, of course. Now, here's the thing: Erling Haaland shut down for the day. Like, he did nothing. He was out there. Did you ever see him touch the ball? Like, he was just an absolute non-factor.
I saw him hitting the ground a lot.
Well, that's what he does, right? Come on,
Yeah.
he's a big man. So if and everybody, whenever a City player goes down, they put their wingspan out, put their
Yeah.
legs up. It's an embarrassment, but that's what world football has
Kevin De
become.
Bruyne did that at one point.
Now, I was going to talk about that. So Kevin De Bruyne, if you remember, went down real
Really
easy
easy.
last week, and he was awarded the penalty. Unbelievable. He tried the same shit this week. It was the same thing.
It was worse this week, if you ask me.
Maybe, but at least the referees have said we saw what you did. We've
Yeah.
seen what you did. I don't see De Bruyne getting that call again this year, which is won't help what they played last week, but this week or whatever, and just that curling this and arms in the air and stuff. So it's like,
So
Kevin, we get it.
theatrical and
Yeah,
dramatic when
yeah.
he dives.
Now, 10 minutes of extra time again. 10 minutes of extra time.
Is that because of Laporte's head injury?
Yeah, but it's like it's just a thing. They're not doing it like they used to or whatever, where they'll only give like 4 or 5 minutes, and that'll be like their max out. Now they're like, no, if you're down for that long, you're down for that long. So 10 extra minutes, and thank goodness, because Tony again, with 2 minutes to spare, the 98th minute of the match, sinks City. City is sunk. As an Arsenal fan, I'm sure you were quite disappointed in the result.
I loved the result.
Oh, okay.
Them losing and then us beating Wolves means we're 5 points clear at the top of the table, which I kind of can't believe. Like,
It's something, and it's showing that it. You don't have to be a super team and have luck get on your side and stuff like that, like the way Liverpool beat them. Brentford just beat them by working harder. If you want to work harder than City, you can beat them. Pep doing his wearing a hoodie to the match looked ridiculous. I thought it looked like he was already packed and ready for his 6-week vacation here.
yeah.
So yeah,
Thomas
good on
Frank
them.
calling this afterwards perhaps the best win Brentford's ever had in their history. I think it's the first time they've beaten Manchester City in Manchester since like the 30s.
Yeah, but to be fair, until 10 years ago, that wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like it was more sad that you didn't beat Manchester City in Manchester since the 30s. But yeah, now it's a feat. Now, especially it's how good they've been running and stuff like that. But yeah, it shows, guys. You don't need to be like have all the talent in the world. Just play a system and play. And if you're aggressive, it's going to pay off against these guys because they're going to panic. They're not. They're. It's like was the Mike Tyson quote: "Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face." And these guys were punching them in the face. They didn't give a shit. More teams have to do that to the City team. They're given too much respect, I think, from the players. I don't think they're going to get as much respect from the officials anymore. I think De Bruyne ruined it, but which is good, and it's about fucking time. But yeah, as you show, guys, be aggressive. These guys are going to leak goals. Just stay on your marker. Like you could shut down Holland. Like yes, it can be done. Anyways, that was it. Now we got 6 weeks. 6 weeks and nothing to do. I think I'm gonna go on vacation for 6 weeks. We got nothing else, do we?
We have this little thing called the World Cup.
Ooh, I forgot. Oh, but it's November. November.
It is November, and it's very weird. But we have the World Cup coming up, starting on Sunday.
Starting Sunday. Qatar and Ecuador, two age-old rivals.
Oh yeah.
Qatar. Oh my gosh.
This is going to be strange because like there are going to be some good matches, or at least some matches that I am interested in. We get England USA on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving USA.
Yeah, Thanksgiving USA. Your Thanksgiving is over.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is not. And we're going to be doing World Cup recaps on this show. Not sure how often yet. We need to talk about that still.
Yeah, we'll
but
figure it out.
we're going to do a preview show for the World Cup that's going to be dropping on Friday or Saturday. So
Right. Yeah, and looking forward to that. Now, we do have a bit of business to take care of here. Oh, and also, before I forget, a little ghost in the machine wants to remind us, and all of you out there, that Brazil has no Thanksgiving. They don't give thanks to anything over there. They're very selfish. Okay,
very
so we have the one bit of business to take care of, and that is our predictions. We won't be doing predictions for the next week of Premier League football because it's 6 weeks from now, and we're gonna forget. Yeah,
a lot
it's
can
not actually.
change in those
Yeah,
6 weeks too.
yeah. You never know who's getting hurt, anything like that. Maybe before the week starts, we'll talk about it and stuff like that, and we'll get it done. We have 6 weeks to do that. But the final score from this past week. Any guesses?
No.
Final score was 5-3.
Okay.
One of us got a draw wrong. Another one got a couple draws wrong. For your winner, Adelia Chamberlain won this week 5-3. So
That actually surprises me.
yeah, I went through, went back just to see how the predictions table is, and I'm on top. But I think you think that it's going to be a much wider margin. It's actually Rob 7, Adelia 5 with a draw.
Nice.
Yeah, and we had those 2 weeks we kind of threw out.
Considering earlier this year we were calling this the Adelia's Definitely Wrong segment, I'm okay with that.
Okay, Adelia, we're going to be back. We're going to be talking World Cup soccer.
Yep.
Anything else you would like to tell the people about?
We will be on YouTube next week. This is the last show that will be audio only, and you'll be able to see our smiling faces.
Lucky.
The link to the new sports channel that LGR Network has launched is going to be in the description. Please go over there and subscribe. You will get the entire back catalog of Starting 11 on video, and then new episodes going forward. And like I said, we're doing the World Cup recap shows while the World Cup's going on. We'll have some guests for that. We're going to hopefully have a guest on the World Cup preview show. And anything else you want to say, Snark?
I don't. I want to just mention quick, go to letsgetreadynetwork.com. You can visit the merch store. I have a Let's Get Ready Network sweater on. And no, I didn't just steal it off that dead hobo I saw by the side of the road. I went and got it. Letsgetreadynetwork.com. Looks so good. I think I might wear it to a job interview or something if I didn't run my own place.
You can get Starting 11 merch on that LGR merch store.
Mm-hmm.
I still need to get mine.
Yeah. How you're wearing? Okay.
I'm wearing
an Arsenal shirt. You're wearing an Arsenal shirt.
We're 5 points clear at the top of the league. Of course, I'm wearing an Arsenal shirt.
Oh, so maybe Let's Get Ready Network should be at the top. Let's Get Ready Network, the top league when it comes to soccer and all your soccer-related podcasts. Guys, that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in, I guess, if that's what you do on podcast form. I don't know, listening in. And stick with us through the World Cup. It's going to be bananas. And we will see you then.